Hey there, I want to share my pour from last night, which I am so in love with. This one took some time and patience, and it was definitely not what it started out to be. This was better than I could have dreamed, which sometimes you just have to listen to the paint and go with what it wants to do. That webbing and the lines are amazing. And the color is just beautiful. It's kind of an earthen look. I love it. And I like that size. That's a fun size. So, oh my gosh. Let me get you up here. And zoom you in a bit. So, today's pour is actually, hang on. I'm trying to walk over to you. I'm thinking and walking and picking up cardboard at the same time, and apparently I can't multitask. And you probably can't read this from where you are, but you can always pause and zoom in. So the pour I'm doing today, and after this pour, I'm going to do another one. Both of them are ideas that I came up with while laying in bed last night, and I had to get up and write them down so I wouldn't forget them. So I had to find something to write down on. I really need to keep some paper right next to my bed. So I wrote it on, I had a piece of mail on my dresser, so I had to write it on that. So let us begin. This is a taped, so the sides are taped, so that stops the paint from flowing over. And I'm going to do a puddle pour swipe, but instead of covering the whole canvas with white first, I'm going to do my puddle pours, then I'm going to surround them in white, and then I will swipe the white over them. Let me get gloves. So, I mean, since, you know, I came up with this idea laying in bed, I don't know if it will work as I predict it will. And I had a hard time picking out colors, like really, oops, I dropped that. Really tough time picking out colors. And now that I'm looking at them, I don't want that. I do want turquoise. I don't want orange. I will take my yellow, so then I'll get some green, and a little bit of dioxazine purple. Okay, so I've got Liquitex Basic Dioxazine Purple, Liquitex Basic Alizarin, Artist Loft Turquoise plus Iridescent Medium, my yellow, which was some kind of yellow mixed with iridescent orange, and Blick Fluorescent Blue, which I'm not a huge fan of, but it'll give it some brightness, so I'm just going to use a touch of it. I really do not like the fluorescent colors. There's something on here. I've been told often to use them for black negative space, but I just don't like them. So, okay, there's something on this canvas. This is an 11 by 14 canvas. So I am just making random spots of color. Actually, in my head, I had big puddles, but I guess in reality, that's not what my hand is doing. I love getting ideas when they just pop into my head. Unless I'm like at work or something, I hate when that happens. Because then I just want to try them out so badly, and I obviously can't. I remember, and I started it here and I never finished it. It was like a year ago, where I had an idea for a mosaic project on this cake stand I had. And I started filming for it on here. And I was gonna, you know, continue to film it till I was done. And then I was going to, you know, put all the little films together. And I worked on it for 2 sessions. And that's it. So, you know, sometimes I have these great ideas that I never follow through on. I've got about 3 unfinished mosaic projects that someday I will go back to them, hopefully. And I still have my favorite mosaic that I ever did, which has started to disintegrate. The grout. It was one of my very first pieces, so I was fairly new to grout, and it has started to disintegrate, and I keep meaning to clean it up and resin it, so that way, but I really have to clean it. I have to be careful because I don't want you know, little pieces of resin or of the sand in the resin. But I really need to do that because I can't display this piece of art until I do that. So yeah. So if you'd like, I would love to hear about your unfinished projects. You can comment about your unfinished projects. I would love to hear about them. And as I have not gotten back to many comments in a few weeks now, but I'm still reading them. I just haven't answered them. So I would love to hear your stories because I know I'm not the only one. Or I'd love to hear of a hobby that you got started in, bought everything for, and then your interest in it just kind of waned completely. Oh, I wanted to show you my new little baby canvas that I will get a magnet. My Amazon delivery should be Tuesday. You know what I'm wondering? No. I was going to think if I should put nothing. Forget my thoughts. See, I'm not quite sure how this will work because I don't think all of the canvas is going to have paint on it, but I plan to tilt it sort of afterwards. But a swipe, I don't know how that'll work if all of the canvas is not, there is a chunk of something in here. If all of the canvas isn't covered, so this is definitely an experiment. So we did get 10 inches of snow last night. And my husband and son still had to be at the restaurant at 7 o'clock this morning. I couldn't believe they didn't close. And yes, my husband works like 3 jobs. He's a teacher and a coach. But we won't get into how teachers are not paid well in the U.S. That's a whole nother discussion, which I've which was an interesting one. I brought it up a while ago, and it was interesting to hear about other countries, and it's really not much better in other countries. Oh boy, okay. Now I'm going to add silicone. So I'm just pouring my white paint. Check out my paint mixing videos if you're confused as to what the hell I'm doing. Ooh, I put like 4 drops. It's a lot of silicone. And it just now occurred to me that it will be difficult to swipe because I can't swipe off the canvas because this is here. But you know, I do want to. And I'm hoping I have enough white paint to get through the day because I was gonna go out and buy some today, but obviously with the snow, I'm not going out. All right. Ugh, that is stuck again. So I'm pouring that along the top. And then taking my favorite, very expensive, very fancy swipe tool. Ta-da! And we're gonna see what happens. So it's going to be interesting. It's all going to build up on this end. Ooh, this could be kind of interesting. Look at that. So this part is definitely the most interesting. I'm going to stand up and get a better look at it to see where I want to go. It's kind of cool like this. Sure where to go. Looking at this yellow cell coming out of the alizarin, super cool. I think I'm going to swipe the other way, and I have to turn it because, as I've discussed, I cannot swipe in the other direction. And I'm not cleaning my fancy swipe tool either. I love the drip off of my of doing a swipe because my paper is really pretty underneath. Which way did I just, okay. tilt it before I torch it. No, your volume hasn't died. I'm just being quiet. Look at that. Isn't that cool? It's like a giant outline of a cell. Now I'm going to kind of bring it back to center, hopefully. Alright, let's see what we got. I love when I get tape. Tape burns easily, FYI. Yikes. All right, it is super cool, except the sides. And remember, I still have to take this off. Looking at it from a distance. The cells are super cool, but it doesn't really have any the colors in the cells are cool, but there is no form to this painting. It's it would be cool in like little macro parts, but as a whole, I don't want to, if I use the hair dryer, there's so much white on here that it's going to end up mainly a white painting with like muddied colors. I honestly am not sure what to do. You can fast forward while I think. I know, but if you look here, it's like a little fist punching something and then it flying. Jeez Louise. I'm gonna try the hairdryer. I fear it will not work. That was the glove. All right. I think this idea, I'm not quitting on this idea, but I think I'm quitting on this particular painting. I'm going to take this off and see if there is anything I can work with. Because you never know. Now that it's going off the edge, it could end up, I may end up liking it more. I love the colors though. I really like the colors. So I don't think the taped edges helped or hindered. But I don't, because the other ones I've done like this, I covered the entire thing with a swipe. In this, I tried to maintain negative space. So there will be all these cells poking through quite quickly. It's fun to watch them. That part's pretty cool. But, and I may let this dry because so much of it I do like. So I may let it dry and then decide how I feel about it. But there is no paint on the sides. These areas will dry flat. I mean, all I'm seeing right now is petri dishes of cells. But I really, really love the colors. So I am going to let this dry. I'm not going to wipe it. I like it enough to give it a chance. Because so much of it, as I said, I do like. So this will be, we will see. I will bring you close. Oh! Tried to get my glove off and that didn't quite work. You can see all the stuff I'm working on over here. Painting the edges of that. And I got to put those red stripes onto that one. And then I made a little coaster that looks like a patchwork quilt. And I'm not huge on patchwork, but it's kind of fun. If nothing else, I will try and get some good pictures of this for little spots, because it is neat looking. My cells have cells. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you next time. Bye.